What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Jorge Masvidal goes off on Khamzat Chimaev. With UFC 287 rapidly approaching, Jorge Masvidal remains hopeful that a big win over Gilbert Burns allows him to cut the line for a title shot. The way he sees things, the contender with the biggest win, who generates the most attention, is the one to get a crack at the title. If the BMF is able to add Gilbert Burns to his already spectacular highlight reel, then he believes it'll be him, not Colby Covington, to get the next crack at Leon Edwards' title. At the same time, Khamzat Chimaev has remained adamant that he's one big win away from a title shot. According to the undefeated contender, he would like to headline a card in Sweden this summer before then dropping down to welterweight and contesting for the belt in Abu Dhabi before the year's up. That doesn't sit too well with Masvidal, who fired back at Chimaev during a recent appearance on the MMA Hour.
You miss weight by 8.5 pounds, get the fuck out of here. And you're still talking about nobody wants to fight you. And this, go fucking make weight before you talk about fighting, bro. That's the first thing, you know. Don't do steroids and make the weight that you agreed upon as a fucking man. You're gonna miss by 8 pounds and think it's all cool and be calling people out. Get the fuck out. And then
While Masvidal may have a point regarding Chimaev needing to make weight before calling for a title shot, many believe that he may be off base when it comes to his own plans for a title shot. Regardless of whether or not he's able to secure a victory over Gilbert Burns, all signs indicate that the promotion will proceed with finalizing a Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington bout, even if the champion is not on board with the idea. Given that the UFC is allegedly working on booking a middleweight fight between Paulo Costa and Khamzat Chimaev, it sounds as though neither he nor Masvidal will be up next for a crack at the belt unless something drastically changes. How do you see things playing out at welterweight? Sound off in the comments section down below. Jared Gordon reacts to Paddy Pimblett call-out. On the heels of undergoing ankle surgery, Paddy the Baddy Pimblett has expressed an interest in running things back with Jared Gordon, who many believe Pimblett lost to last year at UFC 282. Given the ongoing controversy surrounding the scoring and the outcome of the fight, Pimblett wants to run things back and leave no doubt this time around. During a recent video for his YouTube channel, the baddie expressed his confidence in a potential rematch, explaining that Gordon was unable to beat him on what he considers his worst day given the ankle injury he went into the fight with. Shortly after the footage was uploaded, it began to make the rounds on social media, where Jared Gordon saw Pimblett's claims. He weighed in with a tweet of his own, pointing out that the baddie wasn't the only one who went into their clash with an injury. Funny thing is, going into this fight, I had an ankle injury as well, documented by the UFC. I couldn't walk for weeks after our fight too. I get why he's angry. He knows I won, like the rest of the world. With Gordon set for a fight with popular striker Bobby Green on April 22nd, it'll be interesting to see whether the UFC looks to book the rematch between Pimblett and Gordon for later this year. Do you want to see them run things back? Marvin Vettori drops bold prediction regarding Bo Nickal. Former middleweight title challenger Marvin Vettori isn't buying the Bo Nickal hype. While Nickal may be riding an impressive 4-fight winning streak into his upcoming bout with Tresean Gore this summer, many are still waiting to see the collegiate superstar tested inside the octagon. While there's plenty of hype behind Nickal, Vettori believes once he begins to work his way toward the top of the division, he'll encounter plenty of challenges. He spoke to Inside Fighting during a recent interview to reflect on Nickal's recent debut that controversially saw him knee Jamie Pickett in the groin, while making a pretty bold claim about Nickal's future in the division.
Yeah, I wasn't too impressed with it, to be honest. Like, he needed him in the ball, and then he took advantage of that. So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, you know, it's fresh meat. We'll see what happens, and then we'll see, you know, when he gets to the top of the division, I think he'll find problems for sure, you know.
Do you agree with Vettori, or do you think Bo Nickal is the real deal? Sound off in the comments below. Before we continue, make sure you give that like button some love, and be sure to subscribe to the MMA Zone for all of the latest news. UFC fight updates and booking roundup. Let's take a look at some upcoming fights that have been announced, as well as an update to a big UFC 287 fight. Unfortunately, news has surfaced that the Leech, Li Jingliang, has withdrawn from his UFC 287 showdown with Michael Chiesa. According to the report, Jingliang has suffered a spinal injury and could be headed in for surgery. The fight community was quick to show their support for the popular welterweight, with Sadiq Youssef sharing his own insight into his recovery from a herniated disc. This week has also seen reports emerge regarding a potential showdown between Umar Nurmagomedov and Merab Dvalishvili. According to Aaron Bronstetter, a Dominance MMA representative has revealed the UFC offered the fight for May, but given the hand injury Dvalishvili sustained prior to the fight, the UFC is targeting a fight in July. With that said, however, Dvalishvili's manager has stated that given his recent fight, there's nothing to talk about until the UFC 288 bantamweight title fight between Aljamain Sterling and Henry Cejudo. Last but certainly not least, news surfaced that Tatsuro Taira and Clayton Rodriguez will be fighting at a June 24th event. The fight will see Taira look to pick up his 4th straight UFC win, while Rodriguez will be looking to pick up a 2nd straight win inside the octagon after beating Shannon Ross at UFC 284. Drop your predictions for the newly announced fights in the comments section down below. Israel Adesanya reacts to Alex Pereira trolling him. Ahead of their highly anticipated rematch, Alex Pereira has continued to send shots at Israel Adesanya. Recently, Pereira posted footage of himself scoffing at the last Stylebender's decor, which included stuffed animals. After that, Pereira was seen trolling Adesanya by watching Conan the Destroyer on TV, a movie that some allege has a character who resembles the former champion. This week, Adesanya appeared on The Rock's Morning Rumble show, where he reacted to Pereira's recent trolls.
I won't tell the UFC people this, but like there's one reaction he gave, like they panned to like some stuffed animals, and he goes, ah. And for me, I'm like, what the fuck do you think you are? Like that I don't look at him and go, why are you wearing that face paint and crawling on the ground like you're a tiger? I don't care. That's what you want to do. That's what you do. That gives you power. That gives you power. But the fact that he looks at me and the way I live my life, I wasn't even doing nothing about him. I'm living my life. And it upsets him. That's very telling.
With the rematch between the two right around the corner, the pair will have the chance to settle things before we know it. When the two men step inside the octagon in Miami, how do you see things playing out? And now for our breaking news story of the day. We have Dana White releasing 2 fighters from the UFC. Mana Martinez and Rafael Alves have both been removed from the roster and are no longer in the UFC. Now, with the extra room on the roster, who do you think the UFC should sign next? Valentina Shevchenko takes aim at referee Jason Herzog after Alexa Grasso loss. In the wake of Valentina Shevchenko's shocking loss to Alexa Grasso at UFC 285, the now former women's flyweight champion believes referee Jason Herzog may have played a key role in why she lost the fight. During a recent appearance on the MMA Hour, Shevchenko admitted that she likely should not have thrown the spinning back kick that gave Grasso the opportunity to secure a back clinch. However, when looking at her last 2 fights, she believes that Herzog's officiating has been less than ideal. Shevchenko referenced the situation in her previous fight with Taila Santos, where she felt as though Herzog wrongfully gave her opponent a chance to recover. When looking at a recent loss to Alexa Grasso, she believes that Herzog stood the pair up when he shouldn't have.
I was in her guard and landing like big shots over her, and he just decided to stand us up and continue the striking. But you know, it's kind of like the same situation when I say it could affect, because fighter, what they do to take their opponents down, they spend so much energy to take down first, and second to actually hold them down. And when you build your situation, you definitely want to use this situation as much, because you spend so much energy. And when it was deciding that, oh no, in my opinion, you don't have to be there, you have to fight in the strike, in the stand-up, it's kind of like working against you.
As many were quick to point out, although Shevchenko was landing strikes during that time, she had gone 2 minutes without advancing position. With the pair likely set to rematch next, how do you see things playing out? Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to stay up to date with MMA news every day. Here are the top comments from yesterday's video. Edwards vs. Usman 3 didn't sell pay-per-views because it was in England, and no one in North America is buying a pay-per-view that starts at 3 p.m. Someone responded with, plus not many people cared to see that fight. Glad I didn't waste $80 on that card, lol. I think Chimaev has his hands full with Costa. We shall see. Sandman vs. O'Malley is the only fight to make. And those were the top comments from yesterday's video. If you want to be featured on our next video, make sure to leave a comment and don't forget to check out yesterday's video in case you missed it. Thank you so much for joining us today. What do you make of what's going on in the fight world? Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on all of the latest news from the MMA Zone. See you next time!